I feel that all training grounds, military training grounds in Africa for foreign governments should be abolished immediately. I want to repeat that. All foreign military training grounds in African countries, I believe, should be abolished and closed immediately. Do Africans know that as we speak today, almost in every African country there is a foreign military base? Almost in every African country there is a foreign military base. Why must the United States come and establish a military base in Kenya? Why must the British come and establish a military base in Kenya? Why must the US establish a military base in Somalia? Why? Do these African countries lack the proper military personnel to protect themselves? I am saying that these foreign military bases should be closed because they do not live up to their roles. I bumped into an article that was referring to the situation in Kenya, and according to this article, there was a call for the British military bases in Kenya to be closed. If this article, the title read that a challenge to British impunity in Kenya. Now, for those who follow history and for those who are abreast with history, you will understand that Kenya was colonized by the British and it got independence in 1963. Now, after getting independence, I don't know what happened in between, and the British also came back and established a military base in Kenya. This is, to me, this is a form of neo-colonization, because when your colonizer says that you are now independent, and the same colonizer comes back and establishes a military base in the same country which was declared independent, I believe that is neo-colonialism, and Africans need to take care of that. Now, when you read this article is saying that there was a parliamentary inquiry. The Kenyan parliament made some inquiries of the conduct of British soldiers who are training in Kenya, and according to what they found, that I just want to read what is in this article, that members of the British Army Training Unit Kenya, Batuk, have been accused of murder, the sexual abuse of local women, and the use of dangerous chemicals close to their base in Nanyuki in northern Kenya, about 125 miles north of Nairobi. Now, this article continues and says that Britain has kept roughly 200 military personnel permanently based in Kenya since the country gained independence from the United Kingdom in 1963. As well as being a camp to train its own soldiers, the unit provides vital anti-terrorism training to around 1,000 Kenyan soldiers fighting Al-Shabaab in neighboring Somalia. Now, if you are very careful, they have also said that the Kenyan police announced the reopening of a case concerning 21-year-old Agnes Wanjiru's death after a Sunday Times investigation in 2021 identified a British soldier accused of her murder. Now, if you have been following what I was simply reading, the British Army Training Unit Kenya, Batuk, have been accused of murder, sexual abuse of local women, and the use of dangerous chemicals close to their base in Nanyuki. And there is also a citation that a British soldier killed a 21-year-old Kenyan, Agnes Wanjiru's death in 2021. And we are in 2023, and this soldier has never been apprehended. This is what I am talking about. These foreign governments, they establish their military bases in African countries. They allow their soldiers to train in our soil. They allow their soldiers to control our resources. They allow their soldiers to infiltrate and control our military. And the same soldiers who are living in our countries, the same soldiers who come to Africa to train, living among us, they are visitors, foreigners in our countries. They come, kill us, abuse our women, and use dangerous chemicals like what the British soldiers are doing. They are murdering people, sexually abusing local women, and using dangerous chemicals. And they have also been accused by the Kenyan authorities of killing, let me say, a mother, let me say so. Now, this is why I am calling for the closure of these military bases, foreign military bases in Africa. These foreign military bases, one, they depict the neocolonialism in African countries. I started this discussion by saying that Africans should be informed that in almost every African country there is a foreign military base. There is a foreign military base in almost every African country. When I talk about Kenya, there is a British military base in Kenya. And I believe there is an American military base in Kenya. The same applies to Somalia. The same applies to Uganda. Those are just East African countries. There are several military bases in West African countries. And these military bases are established with the requirement or the primary objective of, they always say that helping African countries, African governments to fight terrorism. In Kenya, they say that they help train Kenyan soldiers to fight terrorism, Al-Shabaab terrorists. In Somalia, the US soldiers train Somalia soldiers to help them fight Al-Shabaab terrorists. From just the report, the parliamentary report that I have read, it shows that these people, they are not interested in fighting terrorism. They are not interested in training Kenyan soldiers to fight terrorism. They are interested in causing impunity on African countries and Africans. The case of Kenya should be a lesson to all other African countries. The evidence from the Kenyan parliament should be a lesson, a first-hand experience to all other African countries that harbor these foreign military training bases. I want to believe, and I believe that most of the people sharing this platform would support me in saying that these foreign military bases, they are not in Africa for the good reasons. They are in Africa, one, to protect their interests, and they are in Africa to stamp their authority. I had in one of the discussions about the situation in Uganda, when the then president, the current president, and the then president Yoweri Kaguta Museveni was saying that these foreign governments, they establish foreign military training bases to ensure that they are close to you, such that when you misbehave, they can easily attack you. When you misbehave, they can easily get to you, control you. The same thing was happening in Niger. The French, which was the colonizer of Niger, had a permanent military training base in Niger. And when the junta leaders took power from the former president, President Mohamed Bazoum, the junta leaders ordered French soldiers to leave the country. Why do you think they were saying so? They were taking such an action because they believe that these soldiers are not in their country for the good reasons. These soldiers are in their country to cause impunity, promote impunity. and founded on the same reasons, founded on the same arguments, the same pinpoints, I believe that these foreign military bases in African countries should be closed with immediate effect, and these soldiers should be ordered to return to their countries, because what they did in Kenya should be a lesson, should be an example of what happens in other African countries. If in Kenya they sexually abuse local women and they murder Kenyans, and still the Kenyan government covers up these misdeeds, then we as civilians, we as citizens, we can practically order the closure of these military training bases and advise the government to order the return of these foreign soldiers, because I believe African countries have adequate security personnel to take care of them. Kenya in particular has well-trained soldiers to take care of the security of the country and the region. I saw something that Kenya wants to send its soldiers to Haiti. That means that Kenya has well-trained soldiers. It does not need Britain to protect it. It does not need the US to protect it. Kenya does not need the British soldiers or the American soldiers to be stable, to be peaceful. It has soldiers well-trained and well-equipped to maintain peace. And with this, with the evidence on the British army atrocities in Kenya, I argue and I support the proposal that all foreign military bases in African countries, which I have said that almost in every African country there is a foreign military training base. I believe that these foreign military training bases should be closed with immediate effect if they are in Africa to promote impunity.